Hey everyone, so today we're going to go over exactly how we can take your software development company from booking 0 new calls monthly and completely relying on referrals slash organic traffic or web traffic to acquiring $400,000 in new revenue over 6 months using a hands-off automated outbound system. So let's get straight into it. So one thing I really want to get off right out the bat is that we work on a 10% commission, right? So that means no payments per call, right? No monthly retainers. We work solely on a performance basis, right? So if you acquire a client, we simply take 10% of that deal size that we invoice to you right after that client has closed. You confirm that they paid, they're completely on the company, they're completely working with you, and now that's when we invoice you for our 10% cut. Simple as that. So I just want to go over a few examples of some client success. So example number one here. So this West Coast software company scheduled 70 plus calls over 3 months, and they've been able to use our lead generation improvement that we built for them. So those 70 calls were for a single industry, a single vertical, right? They were especially targeting for specific software development projects. And what we were able to do is we were able to take that campaign, all the infrastructure we built for them, and essentially apply it to 6 other different verticals now, right? So now they're booking a large amount of calls from 6 different ICPs, 6 different client profiles, and they're able to acquire a pretty consistent stream of new projects and kind of actually it's a pretty significant increase in their MRR just down the line here. So moving on to example number 2. So 20% reply rate, which is very, very good for a cold email campaign. For another software development company, I'm booking 16 calls in our first month. And if you know anything about cold email or have tried other cold email before, this is getting those kinds of results in the first month, especially when we're still doing testing and finding our best copy and ICP and just kind of targeting methods. That's a very high bar. It's a very high expectation doing 16 calls within the first month. So that we are very impressed. And as you can see here, 20% replies, 62% opens, 4,897 total delivered emails. And 10 of the meetings that we booked for them, we were qualified, and they managed to sign on 4 new clients in only that 1 month period. Of course, their deal size was a little long, right? So some of those clients carried on to the second month, but we were able, from solely those calls that we booked in the first month, to sign them on 4 new clients. So example 3, so this one's pretty funny. So many positive replies that this cold email campaign had to be paused, but we ended up booking 9 meetings over 2 weeks, which is for this kind of company that was doing this kind of ticket of deal size, this is a pretty significant amount of meetings. So the fact that we were able to do 9 over 2 weeks kind of overwhelmed their sales team, and hence we had to pause it. But I guess we were just too successful for our kind. So of course, 7 of those meetings being qualified, right? So that means that they were good prospective buyers, they had a budget, they had a need for the service, and they were ready to roll. And you can see a little screenshot of the positive replies we got here. And this is a notification that we also sent to the client sales team as well. So you're in the situation where you want to have full access to our inbox as well to see all the replies we're getting in real time. We totally do that for you as well. We are fully transparent in that. So this is especially for you if you are a CEO, founder, or owner of a software development company that is struggling to get new clients outside of referrals, then stick around. And if you no longer want to spend tens of thousands of dollars and months hiring SDRs to do your outreach without any guaranteed results, stick around as well. And if you want to stand out in your competitive market and be able to choose the best products for your company, then also stick around. So I'll be honest and straight. So you can absolutely build a system that generates you $400,000 in new projects yourself over 6 months in 2024. It's especially possible using a hands-off outbound system like ours, right? But unfortunately, there are hundreds of nuances, specific variables, specific settings to tweak to run a very effective campaign, right? You can't really just have all the base tools together. You can't really build a very simple, generic cold email campaign and expect to see great results starting off. That's not really how it works. You really need to go deep dive into the analytics, deep dive into your niche, and really know what to target, right? So you would have to spend months on your offer, ICP, lead scraping, copy, email deliverability, and reputation, which is a big pain, and much more. So in the end, you'll have to spending tens of thousands of dollars over 6 months to 1 year before you can even really start to see results. But in this next part, I'm going to show you how to solve this problem and how to blast ahead of your competitors who still rely on referrals and or web traffic or just organic traffic for their growth. So step 1 is to identify your most profitable market, right? So in the old way, or maybe the way you're traditionally used to doing, so you get clients through referrals or organic website / social media traffic, right? And this is completely normal. The vast majority of software development companies, this is a pretty standard way to acquire new inbound leads, right? But you sell to a wide range of industries, or verticals where you have to face working on low quality projects with bad clients because of bad referrals and bad inbound leads, right? And in the old results, of course, you might know this already, but in the end, you'll have spurred and inconsistent growth while working on some pretty low quality projects without a choice because you don't have a way to source more of them. And marketing doesn't work simply because you haven't developed a consistent outreach system yet. However, in our new way, so you identify your most profitable client projects and then concentrate all of your marketing and outreach efforts into that one or multiple markets and sign similar clients to that vertical, right? So you ensure you're working on the best possible project where you can deliver the best possible results. So, and of course, step 2, moving on from that. So we really need to dial in your services in an easy to understand and compelling offer, right? So the old way, sell the numbers, right? All the stats, billing hours, etc. Focus on hours worked, cost, features, and try to undercut your competition and manage prospects ignoring or ghosting you, even as you've answered all their questions, provided them a lot of value, right? And of course, old results, underqualified clients, low closing rates, lower margins, and prospects take months and many follow-ups to convert, long deal cycles, right? It's always a pain. And of course, but then we move on to the new way. So the new way is focusing on selling the end result and benefits, right? So position an offer into an offer that we're a non-techie business owner, right, with no experience maybe in the IT region, or decision maker can easily understand and see the benefits of, right? And of course, the new result from using this kind of offer would be higher closing rates, higher pricing, shorter deal cycles because your client understands what you're actually trying to sell, and higher quality projects as well because you can choose who to sell to. So step 3, and of course, this is one of the most crucial and effective steps, and it is to set up and run effective outbound, right? So in the old way, maybe use cold calling, network event outreach, online ads, website traffic, and other low converting methods. Generate low intent and unqualified leads and only waste your salespeople's time with underqualified meetings, not having a budget, etc. So the old results you might have experienced from this are, of course, time wasted, tens of thousands of dollars thrown away, and not being able to sleep at night worrying if you're going to hit your growth targets or actually achieve any measurable growth. But however, in the new way, so we're using both your ICP and your offer that we've created earlier in the previous 2 steps to leverage email outbound to target your direct ICP, right? Who you actually want to sell to. And of course, we set up all the technical infrastructure for optimal email deliverability, high volume, lead verification, and writing high converting copy, which is arguably one of the more important components. And of course, new results, being able to sleep at night, knowing that you can even hit even higher growth goals just by ramping up volume. And that's a great thing about cold email, right? It's a numbers game. So if you manage to get a 2% booking rate, which is pretty incredible actually, and we've been able to hit that with some of our campaigns ourselves. But if you manage to hit a 2% booking rate, that means out of 100 emails you send, you could pick 2 meetings, right? So theoretically, let's say your close rate is 1 in 6, right? So it takes you about 300 emails to acquire 1 new client or 1 new project, right? So if you're sending 6,000 emails across 3 months, right? You've acquired 10 new, and of course, I don't know your own capacity. I don't know the capacity of your company, the kind of deal size you work on. Obviously, larger deals, they're much harder to fulfill, right? But generally, you can acquire, if you have that 2% rate, you can acquire 10 deals with 6,000 emails sent. And that's the beauty of cold email. It's a numbers game. It's a very reliable, very scalable system. So all you really need to do is, in summary of this all, is to identify your most profitable market and client archetypes, right? And then construct your offer, your services in a benefits-focused offer. And then set up a powerful cold outbound system using the previous 2 components that we already discovered. And of course, book sales calls with interested prospects and qualify them and then close them. And of course, then, as a result of that, you can generate easily an extra $400,000 in new projects yourselves over 6 months in 2024 using a hands-off outbound system. So going off into your options here, there are very few ways to achieve this. So option number 1 is to do this in-house. However, it's going to likely take you 6 months to a year to learn all the technical nuances about best practices, right? Especially if you're working in more niche markets, more niche industries, right, with a more niche service. It's going to take you a long time to go through all the specificities of that niche, learn how to optimize your deliverability, right? And even if you do, you're also going to be kind of blind to more of your other industries and other verticals, right? Because a lot of the knowledge that you gain from doing testing in one specific vertical is it going to translate to another, right? So that's going to kind of, depending on what you're selling to the number of different markets you're selling to, that's going to significantly increase kind of your lead time and your optimization time that's needed to actually produce like a very scalable and downright campaign. And then you're going to have to spend And this is a given, this is an absolute. You're gonna have to spend 2 to 3 hours daily, or at least, or have somebody else spend 2 to 3 hours daily. But of course, you're still gonna have to go in and do a lot of this yourself. But you're gonna have to spend 2 to 3 hours daily optimizing and adjusting the system, right? Because it's all about testing. So the first 3 months, 2 to 3 hours a day, easily, right? So you're gonna spend about 90 hours a month just kind of going in, optimizing the system, right? Finding out which components perform the best, what kind of emails, deliverability metrics that you want to care about, what kind of offers resonate best with your ICP, right? So all the little nuances, you're gonna have to figure that out yourself. You're gonna have to test that out yourself. And then, of course, number 3, you're gonna have to spend at least a minimum of $8,000 setting up all the tech, right? Because the server costs and the domain costs, especially if you're doing an effective cold email campaign, they can be pretty exponential, right? They are it's pretty expensive to set up a really effective and highly targeted cold email campaign, especially for more specific niches, right? So, however, or option 2, start working with us. We can make use of our pre-existing expertise over 2.5 years of operating and start booking qualified calls a lot of the time within our first month, right? And again, this is for software development companies in the US who want to start acquiring high quality projects on a consistent monthly basis, but are struggling to do so without relying on referrals. So here's a before and after of another software development company's calendar with 20 plus calls booked in the first 2 weeks. So I can see right here, this is kind of a normal week for them, right? So they would book maybe 3 minor discovery calls, right? Maybe one of those would be qualified, right? Because they were getting a lot of that from web traffic, right? So it's very unreliable, very difficult to control what kind of leads you get from there. But as you can see here, we were able to, and this is, I feel bad for doing this to their sales team, but as you can see across the 6-day period here, right, this is easily 20 plus meetings, right? So they're, I kind of feel bad for their sales guys because we kind of overwhelmed them. And this is actually one of the campaigns we had to pause because we were getting so many positive replies. So going from that, and this is actually from a client I mentioned at the start, and you might recognize this image as one of the case studies from up there. So you can see all the campaign stats right here. And so pretty much here's what's going to happen when you work with us, right? Here's exactly what we do. So you will be able to generate an extra, and this isn't, the $400,000 mark isn't really even like a median. It's kind of like an average of what's able to be done with this kind of system, right? So you'll be able to generate an extra $400,000 in revenue over 6 months. And you can even start using this system with us to start selling other services that you might offer, or even SaaS products that you currently have as well. Cold email actually works really great for more high ticket SaaS products. And you can finally stop wasting your time doing outreach yourself while you have your current clients clamoring for your attention, or you can save your salespeople's time doing much more effective work and bringing in more results by also saving their time on outreach. And you can forget about having to talk to unqualified prospects on bad calls because you don't know if you're going to find any more prospects, right? So prospects who don't have a budget, you don't have to worry about them anymore because you're easily going to be able to find more, right? And of course, you'll be able to hit your yearly sales targets goals without concern. So exactly how does it work? So to summarize, here's what we'll do. We'll analyze your current clients following step 1 and past/present projects and determine our best client industry or vertical to target so we can start getting your ideal clients. We'll go over the numbers, look into your clients' businesses, and even conduct client interviews, which is something we found to be extremely effective. And of course, we'll build you multiple offers, right? So the reason for multiple offers, instead of just doing one offer in step 2, is because we can kind of A/B test different offers, see what really resonates, right? And then, of course, we'll be A/B testing all of our easy to understand offers and scale the best performing one that we find. And then step 3, we'll then create the outreach systems, right? So all the logistics stuff and set up all the technology over only 2 weeks of setup, right? And of course, this entire process has been refined through years of getting clients results, right? So meaning that everything will be set up to the highest standard, following all the best practices and having the best deliverability metrics possible, right? And of course, after we complete these 3 steps, we'll be turning the positive replies from our outreach into booked calls on your calendar, right? And of course, this will be completely hands-off for you since we take care of all inbound prospects, and we also pre-qualify them just to ensure that you're getting good quality calls and good quality qualified leads. So if you're interested in seeing how this process would apply to your business, go ahead and book a 15-minute call with me using the button right below this video. And of course, you can see a screenshot of that right there, just to give you an idea where it is, if you can't already find it, or the link if you're viewing this in an email, and it'll be right below the link to view this video in the email that I sent to you. And of course, so let's summarize this offer. You will get an analysis of your current clients and past projects to determine your best client industry and vertical, right? So the guys you really want to sell to, the guys that convert best, and the guys you can do the best work for. And of course, we'll build you multiple offers based on your expertise and case studies, A/B test them, scale the best one. And then of course, we'll then create the entire outreach system and set up all the technology over only 2 weeks of total setup in order to generate an extra $400,000 in revenue over a 6-month period. And as I mentioned, we work on a 10% flat commission. So if you don't acquire clients, you don't pay. Simple as that. And of course, all you need to do is book a call with us, as I mentioned, the button, or use the link in the email. And hey, thanks so much for watching. Look forward to talking to you. Thanks.